Hello lovely people, how are you all doing? I hope you are well. Unbelievably, my stupid cold, it seems to be still lingering. When I was ironing, that day I was ironing, I thought, yay, this cold's gone, I feel so much better, but it's just, I don't know, it just won't pack in. Anyway, so look, if I have to stop and blow my nose, anyway, the point is, I'm having quite a slow day today. This morning, mostly doing sort of, you know, admin-y stuff, all that stuff we all have to do, and photographing some new stock, etc, etc. And then I had a call from Gary, or a text from Gary, said, oh, come and meet me at the coffee shop. So I thought, yeah, you know what, I'll go and have a little meet up, keep my distance with my germs. And whilst I was out, collect a parcel, because a parcel came yesterday, I missed it. It was at the shop downstairs, so I just popped into them to get my parcel. More of that in a second, it's so exciting. So yeah, it's been an odds and sods and its and bits day so far. What is the time? It's 2:30, crikey. The days disappear these days. But I just thought I'm just going to have a quick sit and sort of chill a second. Just chill a second, catch you up on a few bits and say a few thank yous. I actually wanted to say thank you to everyone for just being here at all. Thank you. I don't thank you all enough just for the fact of subscribing and watching videos and, you know, comments and messages and all that sort of thing. So thank you. I should remember to do that more often because, well, without you there wouldn't be a channel, would there? And by far the vast majority of you are utterly lovely and are encouraging, and you're kind with each other too when you're in comments with each other, and it's a gorgeous little community that you and I together we have made. So bravo you and thank you. Yeah, I should do it more often. I apologise. So where to start today? My records, an update on that. Yay, I've sold them. And I'm so proud of myself because it's not a shyness thing. I don't like confrontation, and I'm sort of like by the rules. Yes, please, no thank you, please, sir, thanks, whatever it is. I'm not very good at speaking up for myself. I'm not a haggler, any of those things, but on this occasion, I actually kind of went, I spoke up a bit. So I had left the records with them so they could have a good, long, hard look at them. They need to be looked at quite closely, obviously, to make sure that they're in good condition, they're not scratched. And also in the centre where, you know, where you've got your paper label in the middle, just around that bit of vinyl at the edge, the sort of the run out from where it plays, that's where you get the sort of the numbers. There's a whole series of numbers and letters, and that tells you whether it's a first pressing or a later pressing. I'm Bacardi on my knees. I'll come back to the records in a sec. The weather is just so weird at the moment that 2 nights ago we were down to frost, and then last night we were in double digits. It's bonkers. It's really hard to know how to dress each day. I think the best thing is layers. So I'm currently 3 layers. I did have a 4th layer on when I was outside, but I got really quite too warm. Although this long sleeve tee is actually one of my thermal ones. It's a 2 thermometer. It's not a 3 thermometer thermal. That's for the winter. Anyway, yeah. So I feel like I'm constantly stripping and layering and stripping. Anyway, yeah, so I left the records with them so they could have a good long look at them, and then they called me back a couple of days later. Now, beforehand, I had sort of in my head made a decision in terms of numbers, and this is quite useful, I think, if you're going to sell anything, so you're not kind of caught on the hop thinking, is that good? Is it bad? I don't know. I had come up with a figure which would be my absolute low cut-off. Anything less than that, I wouldn't sell. I don't know what I'd do with them. I don't know, but I didn't want to sell below a certain price. And I had this price is ideal. So let's say, and this isn't the figures, but let's say my low price was 400. Nothing less would be acceptable. But ideally I would like 500. So that when he called back, he said, hi Vivi, we've had a look. We're now ready to make you an offer. How would 450 be? Now, the person I am, because I want to please everyone and not upset everyone, in the past I would have said, oh, that's great, thank you. And 450 was great. That, like I say, this isn't my actual numbers, because it's quite a bit above my absolute bottom price. But just when I was about to say, oh yes, please, thank you for doing this for me, yes, I'll take whatever you say, I said, that's a nice offer. However, I was hoping for closer to 500. And he said, oh, okay. He said, just give me a second. So he went off to chat with his co-owner. The two of them have the shop. And came back and said, well, how would 470 be? And I said, you know what? That's great. I'll accept that. Thank you. So look, they've come up a bit. I've come down from my top, desire, wish amount. But I mean, what a great way to do business. I'm happy, they're really happy. So they can't wait to get them out and get them sold. He reckons they'll sell really quickly. Brilliant. So, so I'm gonna do it in cash. I'm gonna pop over there again in a few days and get the cash. I'm gonna try. I've got to resist the temptation to browse in the shop. Actually, I am very, very good at resisting that sort of temptation. This money is all about going into the next house, so I will pick the money up, and a few doors down there's a post office, and I'll go to the post office and I'll just pay it straight into one of my myriad savings funds. So yeah, pleased with that, very pleased with that. What else? I mean, it's such a peculiar time. I was chatting with Paul the other day and I was saying how I feel so busy at the moment. I feel literally, I get out of bed in the morning and I feel busy all day and into most of the evening, and that's 7 days a week. But then I think, I don't know what I've done. What have I done? I am obviously doing stuff. I'm obviously being productive and constructive with my time, but a lot of it's probably just that a lot of it isn't, anything sort of particularly exciting to share. Okay, weird moment, and this has completely weirded me out. I'd started thinking about this at some point in the summer. I think someone had left me a comment. It was one of those comments which was, it was just so patronising about moving house, as if I've never done this before, as if I've never moved house. They were talking to me, they probably meant well, but it was really an ill thought out comment. But this person had basically talked to me as if I was a 14-year-old living at home with mummy and daddy, and when you leave home and go to university, think about packing X, Y and Z with you, or whatever, And anyway, it got my goat a bit, but it also got me thinking about how many times I have moved. Yeah, this ain't my first rodeo. So I started to think about how many times I've moved. So I started right from day one, right from the day I was born. I wasn't born in a hospital, I was born at home. This was the late 60s, and still, I think a lot of people did still give birth at home. But anyway, certainly I was born at home. So I thought about that house, and then my parents divorced and we ended up in social housing. So I thought about that property. And then I'm not including unit halls of residence. I can't remember I know the name of the hall that I lived in. I can't remember my room number, but anyway, after that, then moving into a flat, and then moving, flats in Manchester. How many? 2 flats in Manchester, and then coming to London, and anyway, so I was remembering this chain of all these properties right from the one that I was born in. This is completely mad and spooky. Every property I've ever lived in, whether I've owned it, rented it, parent property, whatever it was, every property I've ever lived in has been, the house number or flat number has been one of only 3 digits. They've all been either 1, 2 or 9 or a combination. So I've lived at 2 number 1s. I lived at number 1 X Street and number 1 Y Street, 2 different cities. I lived at 2 number 2s, number 2 this street, number 2 that street. I've lived at 209, 129, 99, 19. It goes on, but literally every home I've ever lived in is either 1 or 2 or 9 or a combination. Isn't that bonkers? I'm going to get emotional now, but you know what's even more bonkers? My next property, it's the same again. It's the same numbers. What is going on? It's bananas. Yeah, it's... When I thought about that, and I'd thought about that in the summer, and I'd put it into the back of my mind. Excuse me a sec. And when I've been looking at properties, I didn't with any of them. I wasn't looking at the house number. Of course not. I'm just looking at, you're looking at photos of the internal of the rooms to see, does it look big enough for me? Does it look nice enough? Does it need work? Is there a garden? No one, I don't think, bothers with whatever the number of the house is. And it was only afterwards when my offer was accepted and I started pursuing things more, I suddenly thought, you're joking. It's using 1s and 2s and 9s again. This is mental. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you because I just thought it was... So I think maybe they're my lucky numbers because I think for the most part I've been happy. So maybe I should buy a lottery ticket using combinations of 1s and 2s and 9s. How high does a lottery ticket go? Does it go up to 99? I don't think... Are there that many numbers on a lottery ticket? I don't know. But yeah, I should think about it. Right, so this morning... Hold on a minute, this is a bit bonkers. I'm going to save that for a second. So I've got a couple of thank yous to say. Firstly, I've got thank yous to say to Wendy and Liz. I'll come to that in a second. They both sent me, it's just completely serendipitous, they both just sent parcels at the same time. I feel a bit naughty, it feels like a bit of an early Christmas, it feels naughty. And it's from both of them sort of, essentially saying, look after yourself, hope you feel better soon, but also congratulations on the news of the house move and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just a little couple of parcels of love. So I wanted to say firstly to Wendy, thank you. Beautiful soap, gorgeous, triple milled, it's lavender, it's made in Italy, and actually this will stun you. Hopifico, can you see it? Hopificio, I don't know. It's beautiful, lavender. What's amazing is last summer for my birthday, I was given a bar of soap from Sarah and Ian that had sort of seaweedy bits in it, and kind of a similar size that way, but slightly deeper. I opened it and started using it in the middle of February this year. I think I opened it on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, and it's only just run out. It's like really, really fabulous quality soaps. It's only just run out. So perfect timing. I need a new bar of bath soap. Smells delicious. Thank you, lovely. And she sent me a hand knitted, excuse me, dishcloth, but it's really sweet with a bit of pink and lilac around the edge. I have tons of dishcloths now. I have more hand knitted dishcloths than I need, and I thought in any case that's really pretty with the pink and the lilac. I'm going to use it as a face cloth instead, because I like a face cloth. I like a cloth to wash with. So that's going to go to the bathroom too. And then a really sweet little tin. Sorry, the light's crazy today. It's kind of it's been really, really overcast, and then every now and again suddenly we get a bit of light and it feels delicious, and then it goes overcast again. But anyway, this little tin, little Paris tin, that's how deep it is. And I was going to say there's nothing in it, but look, there's the string that was around the package. Of course I've kept the string. Waste not, want not. And apart from, I was going to say I'm a gardener. All gardeners keep the string. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, sorry. That's the... Ow! That was getting the soap too much up my nose. I was going to say, yeah, I'm a gardener. All gardeners keep string. I'm not a gardener at the moment. I will be again. Anyway, I thought that's a really dinky size for bobbins, sewing machine bobbins. I could probably get 3 by 4 in there. I'd probably get about 12 in there. So that keeps them really neat and tidy, especially I tend to try to sew one lot of colour in one go. I was going to say, especially if I'm swapping bobbins a lot with you know, if I'm going from a red bobbin to a yellow bobbin to a green bobbin. It sounds like a tongue twister, doesn't it? But anyway, I thought that would be a really lovely use for that tin. Really cute. Thank you so much, Wendy, and for a lovely little note inside. Gorgeous. And then I've had a lovely, also little parcel from Liz. We'll share a little bit of it with you. But this card, I just loved this card. So blank card, but the image on the front, I'm not going to show it to you. Sorry, I just had to stop in my tracks then, because I suddenly thought, am I showing something on the inside? Am I showing her address? But yeah, it slides off and becomes a postcard. And look, it's home from home, Swanage. So you see right at the end of the cliffs here, that cut through, that's where my grandparents lived on the top there. So that little cut through, that's that really steep cut through I went down when the surf was up on that Sunday, and I took my sister's ashes down onto the beach there. How lovely! But I thought that was a really clever idea, so that I can slide that out, and I can pop it on my mantelpiece. Pop it in a frame. More of framed cards in a second. Yeah, so I was delighted with that. And what's cute is she's telling me how, you know, she lives not in that bit of Dorset area, but it kind of travels around a bit. So she picked a few bits and bobs up on her travels to share, which was so kind and thoughtful. So it was a lovely little Lucky Dip box. This one made me laugh. It's a selection box. It's far too soon to open a selection box, isn't it? But I might do. Maybe it'll make me feel better. And some little foodie bits, but lovely. I'm just struggling with like Country Crunch biscuits from Exmouth. There's Oat Crunch, Toffee Crunch, and Ginger Crunch. Gorgeous. I've never been to Exmouth. I wonder if any of you actually live there. Probably some of you will. So Exmouth, it's in Devon, for those of you who are outside the UK and don't know. And as the name suggests, it's a town at the mouth, the opening where the River Exe tips into the sea. Exmouth, the town is there. I'm saying with great confidence, on the south coast. It is the south coast, isn't it? And then a little further north and inland is Exeter. county town of Devon. I think Exeter's your county town, isn't it? And of course then there's Exmoor, so there's lots of Ex in that area, from the River Ex. So I love that. That is such a, again, for anyone outside the UK, this is such a British thing, a British holiday thing. Holiday. When you go on your holidays to the seaside, you will see this in our seaside towns all around the country, whether you're in Blackpool, Skegness. I don't know if Brighton does it. I think Brighton's far too cool for school, but yeah, Skegness, Margate, Bournemouth, Exmouth, Newquay, where literally any seaside town you go to in the UK, you'll find these wonderful little gift shops. So you can buy something from there to take home, maybe to give to your neighbour to say thank you for watering the plants, or to the other neighbour, thanks for feeding the cats. And it'll be something like biscuits or fudge or tea bags, and usually there will be a picture of that little resort, blue skies and sand and a bit of sea, and that's your kind of memento of your time. So I thank you Liz anyway, to have some little treats, sweet treats. I haven't been having sweet treats at all recently, so that would be really nice. But oh, and I should say there was a little bit of chocolate in with Wendy's parcel. That's gone. But yeah, it's kind of, I love this on so many levels. There's a sort of, there's a nostalgia to it, and also I will enjoy eating the bickies. And I've never been to Exmouth, and it made me think, you know, wow, we live in such a beautiful country, the British Isles. It's such a beautiful place, and with such variation in landscape, whether we're in the true rugged wilderness of, say, the Cairngorms, or up on the North York Moors, or Dartmoor, these wild landscapes we have that are, you know, they are wild, they're scary, they could be even oppressive in moments if you're caught there in a storm. And then we think of all the beautiful, gentle, rolling landscape of the southeast, with our down landscapes, our downlands, where chalk downlands with beautiful grass meadows and wildflowers where there are any left. But yeah, there's such variation in our landscape. It makes you think, why would you ever go on holiday anywhere else? We've got it all. You know, you think about those real kind of isolated isles off Scotland, so the Hebrides, perhaps. Oh my goodness, just the adventure of the trek to get there, to get off the mainland and to get to those little islands. Wild, yes, exactly, wild. And then you think the opposite, if we go to I was going to say, are they the southernmost? I'm thinking of the Scilly Isles, which are such, you know, beautiful. We think of them as being sunshiny and almost subtropical. Are they the most southerly, or are the Channel Islands further south? The Channel Islands might actually be further south. But anyway, yes, it just got me thinking about what a beautiful country we live in. And I've been to many places all over the country, but Exmouth isn't one of them. And Devon, I've only ever been to the North Devon coast, so around the area of sort of Ilfracombe, Barnstable, that sort of area. Anyway, gosh, digressing. Thank you so much. But of course, another English seaside tradition. Now, I'm trying to think now. I'm pretty sure I've spoken about this twice, and every time I've spoken about it, I've eaten the product before I could show it to you. So finally today, I can show you, especially for our overseas friends, a stick of rock. So you see, there you get your pictures. This is a stick of rock from Swanage. So I'm guessing when you were in Swanage, you found the card and the stick of rock. If I open this end, you'll be able to see. It should say Swanage all the way through the middle. I've opened the wrong end. It's not very clear. Oh, the camera is going to really... But that red stuff, that should be lettering that says Swanage all the way through. Peppermint. I want to start eating it. I'm not going to do it on camera, but I can finally... So that's a kind of a rainbow coloured one. The traditional ones are just bright pink, this sort of bright pink colour. But yeah, a rainbow one. Oh my goodness. What a lovely couple of parcels from a lovely couple of people. There was some risotto rice in that box. That's great. And this is lovely. A couple of tea towels. This is great because actually blue and white as well. My tea towels are leaning more and more into the blue and whites. I've got a couple of tea towels which are, I mean, honestly, they're so beat up. It's high time they became cleaning rather than tea towels. Oh, and there's some soap in it. Gardener soap. Cheddar Gorge. Okay, so Cheddar Gorge. Oh, there we go. We're having a proper little tour of the south here. Cheddar Gorge is in Somerset. And it is famous. It's a, as it says, it's a gorge. It's not quite as big as the Grand Canyon. But there are also caves to explore there. I haven't been since I was a little girl, really quite little. There's something there, I think it's called Jacob's Ladder. Anyone who's in that area, you'll know. Is there something called Jacob's Ladder there? And it goes up and up and up and up. But yeah, Cheddar Gorge soap. Thank you, lovely. And a Dorset tea towel. This is so fab. Oh, it's got something holding it together. It's a bit of Swanage, a bit of Corf. What have we got there? Durdle. I have to open it. Oh, West Bay. West Bay. I haven't got scissors to get that off. And this says West Bay Little Turns. So this is also West Bay. Oh, this is lovely. Oh, that's gorgeous. Really simple but gorgeous. So West Bay in Dorset, so the town is kind of here. You can see, come onto the beach. And then there's this great wall of cliffs. I don't know how tall they are. They're tall. And it's just a sheer drop. People walk around, it's just boom, sheer drop. But also kind of famous, that is so dangerous, famous for cliff falls, not people falling off the cliffs. The cliff fall face just drops away after a storm, pounding it, you know, loosens things. And huge, vast sections come crashing down. If you go onto YouTube and look at, if you type in something like cliff fall West Bay, cliff erosion West Bay, I'm just saying the word west as in the place and bay, West Bay in Dorset, you'll see there is footage on there. It's, you know, it's happening all around the entire British Isles, isn't it, where we've got softer rock at the coast that's being eroded, rather than, say, you know, think of Cornwall and it's granite, but particularly Norfolk is being chomped away by the sea every year. Oh, that's gorgeous. Thank you, lovely. Thank you both, both Liz and Wendy. Oh, I just noticed as well, there's a can, I've never seen it as a can of wine, and there's some risotto rice. So, yay, risotto. That's lovely stuff, and that has properly cheered me up. And this cold, it's been a bit of, I'm going to come on to this in a second. It's been a bit, because I got really emotional this morning. It's been a bit of a weird time the last couple of weeks, and I have been quite emotional. Not sad, but just finding myself feeling tearful quite a lot. And I think it's a combination of, I think I'm quite tired and a bit run down. This cold, really annoying. So there's that going on anyway. But I think, you know, I'm just about to make a huge change, aren't I, in terms of moving. moving from this little place that I've loved so much, moving to a place which I'm really excited about, but which needs work. It's not what I want at the moment in terms of how everything looks. Yeah, so I think I just feel, I think the emotional bucket is quite full and it's quite near the surface at the moment. So just the littlest things are making me go, well up. And that's exactly what happened this morning. So our Gary said, meet me at the coffee shop. So I popped down to the coffee shop and he slid this across the table. And I said, what are you doing, you numpty? It ain't my birthday, it ain't Christmas. And he said, it's thank you for the cold frame. Now, I had said to him over and over again, look, I didn't pay for the cold frame. Someone else was throwing it away, was going to literally put it in a skip. No, I will have it. So I didn't pay for it. It's absolutely no skin off my nose. But Gary keeps saying, yeah, but you could have given it to anyone and you gave it to me. I'm really thankful. So I want to show my thanks in some way. And I said, well, I'm not going to accept a single penny from you. So for the last few weeks, he's been badgering me saying, let me take you to, remember I was mentioning the pub with the gorgeous garden outside where I sat in the sunshine and pretended I was in France. They do a really nice sort of pub menu. They've got a gorgeous wood-fired stove there, so they do lovely pizzas. So for the last few weeks, he's been banging on and on and on at me. She won't leave me alone, saying, let me take you down there, let me buy you dinner. I was like, honestly, Gary, I don't need anything. It's a pleasure to know that it's gone to someone who's going to look after it and make the most of it. So he's been getting really annoyed with me for refusing dinner. So when I went in this morning, pushed this cross table, I said, what is it? And he said, well, if you won't accept any money and you won't accept dinner from me, I know that you will accept a book. You darn tootin' right I will. So first of all, the card that he gave me, I love this. This is, what's it called? Hidden Hairs by Angela Harding. Coincidentally, someone messaged to say, sorry, I forgot who it was, to say, was the Wintering book jacket possibly by Angela Harding? And I think you're right. I think it could be. Not to be confused with Angie Lewin. They're both Angelas. That's my notebook that I'm currently using in my crossbody bag, my day bag. So Angie Lewin, I love her stuff, but also, so they're both Angelas, but this is Angela Harding. I love that. I've got a few of her cards now that have come, you know, I've got a couple that were actually sent as Christmas cards. My cousin sent me one last Christmas. I think it was also of hares. I've got a couple which are foxes, but I've also got a few other cards of other bits of wildlife, not necessarily by her, but in this kind of sort of style. So they're lino cuts, wood cuts, that sort of thing. They're so lovely. I didn't want to get rid of them. And I've kind of had this idea in my head for ages, and it's what I can do in my next home. So in my next home, whereas this flat, it's almost based around a square, it's almost, or a circle, isn't it? You know, bathroom, bedroom, living, kitchen, like that. I'm looking from above. Whereas my next flat is more of what you would think of as a shotgun property. It's all in a line. So dirt rooms from front to back. So there's a corridor, there's a hallway. So what I'm planning to do is, if I was to frame that and put it on my wall here, it's so tiny it would just get lost. It would just be swamped by all the wall. But what I thought is, in the hallway, it would work better because a hallway is narrower and we're walking through it. If I put these all at eye height, you're much closer up to them in the hallway as you walk through. I thought I would do sort of like going in a line down the hallway, not a perfect line, so maybe one here and then 2, 1, 2, 1, you know, so it's almost like a little wave. And I can finally have all these beautiful cards that I've kept. It's stunning, isn't it? I love it. So I can finally have all these gorgeous cards that I've kept over the years up and out and on display. And I thought for frames, what I'll do is, it's no hurry, I'll look in all my charity shops and probably pick a frame with a theme. So for instance, I'm going to have the hall walls white, so maybe a sort of a mahogany darker brown old-fashioned frame, or black or whatever. Just pick one colour for the frames, but the frames themselves can be different shapes and styles. Yeah, I think that would be really lovely. A hallway gallery of all these really gorgeous lino cuts and wood cuts that are all to do with nature. So cheers, Gary. Really such a lovely card, and yeah, just really nice words from him as well. And then the book, so before I could open it, he was saying, oh, you might have it if you have it already, don't worry, I've got the receipt, you can change it, da da da. And I said right, Gary, just hand it over, let me open it. And he's given me a copy of The South Country by Edward Thomas in my utterly beloved Little Toller books. So Little Toller books, Gary and I have spent hours talking about Little Toller books and all manner of this style of book about natural history, early farming, being in nature. And this is Edward Thomas before the First World War, just setting out on foot in Kent, Surrey, the South Downs basically. And he has a beautiful way of seeing and feeling in nature, and the most amazing ability to convey that with words. He was a poet. So I've been after this for ages. I'll show you something now. My wallet. Do you remember my absolutely fab £3.50 Catechism wallet buy? I said to Gary, I said, oh my goodness, I've been wanting this one for so long. He thought I was just trying to be polite. And he said, if you've got it already, Vivi, it's fine, just tell me. And I said, no, and I can prove to you I've been after it for ages. Because in my wallet, I'll show you too much. I don't know if you can see, in the middle, there's loads of bits of paper. There's papers tucked everywhere. These are lists of books that I'm looking out for, either for friends. They've asked me specifically, so if I find the book, they will pay me for it. It's, you know, something that they'll pay me for because they want it. Or sometimes it's lists of books people have mentioned, and I think, oh, I'll keep a lookout for that for a gift. But it also contains lists, my lists. and what is that? Oh, light's a problem. What does that say? South Country, Edward Thomas. And what is this book? The South Country, Edward Thomas. So I said to Gary, I said, see, I have been wanting it for absolutely, I'm putting it back because there's something on the other side for someone else. I have been wanting it for the longest time. I actually started, I was saying about being emotional, my eyes started to prick a bit. I was like, oh. And yeah, it just feels like what a momentous year, you know, giving up the plot. And as Gary and I were sitting there chatting, I was saying, you know, we have to make the effort to every now and again meet up in the coffee shop or the pub even, because we're not going to see each other in passing at the allotment anymore. You know, I see him in the street quite a bit, but that's just for a quick in passing hello. That's like a 10-minute chat in the street. But in terms of being able to just sit and chat and talk about books and art and stuff that we both like I used to do in the allotment with him, we have to make that concerted effort to say, you know, like today, let's meet up for, he has a coffee, I had a hot chocolate, he treated me to a hot chocolate as well, bless him. But on other occasions, it might be me, I'll give him a blow to say, what about a pub, what about a couple of pints this afternoon, evening, whatever. Yeah, So yeah, I'm feeling very, I feel very blessed. Thank, you know, Liz and Wendy, such lovely things. I got really quite emotional with my eyes were really pricking, and I didn't know why, and I said, I don't know, I am at peace with giving up my allotment, of course I am, but it's still like, oh, so it's getting all pricky of eye, and I left there, and then I bumped into another friend, and she said, are you all right? And I said, yeah, I said, I'm absolutely fine. I said, I'm just having a kind of a weepy nostalgia moment. Just been chatting to Gary. She knows Gary as well. Anyway, we were chatting, and she said, how's your house move going? Because I haven't seen her for about a month or so now. And I said, oh, I'm under offer, which is great. She said, oh, so am I. I was like, oh my goodness, that's great. Oh. So off she went, and she's got a dog as well, so I got to have doggy cuddles. She went off, and then again my eyes pricked. I mean, my eyes are stinging with these tears that want to come, and I thought, right, you know what, I'm going to go home. If I need to have a cry today, I'm going to go home and do it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, yeah, everything. It's just everything. But you know, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm just tired and a bit under the weather, and a bit. There is a little bit of stress in the background, and I could do without it. But it's all for good reason, isn't it? And it will all be. That bit will all be over and done with before too long. Here's hoping. Right, I dabbled for much longer than I planned to today. I just wanted to have a little bit of a chatty catch up, and I love that idea, of the card gallery wall down a hallway. I think, you know, some of you may like to do something similar. I know there's probably loads of you who keep cards. I don't keep all cards, not by any means, but I have got about 20 cards similar that I just love, couldn't bear to part with. So I think when they're such small images, I think they're better suited to a smaller surface. You know, maybe even something like, if you've got a downstairs bathroom, a little gallery wall there of your favourite images. It's a cute idea. I will certainly be exploring that in the new place. There's no news on that, by the way, at the moment. It's just all, you know, it just ticks along now. Solicitors looking at documents, and solicitors emailing me every day saying, oh, can you do this, and can you provide that? Well, there's always something else to provide, but I'm able to, so it's okay. Right, that's it. I will I will catch up with you. I'm not sure what I'm doing next. Yeah, the days keep rolling, one into another. There is a plan. It's on my pinboard in the kitchen, but because I'm not sitting in the kitchen, I don't know what's happening next. Unless it's on the pinboard, I've got no idea. There's way too much going on to keep it all in here. I want to keep this free for time with friends and reading and that kind of thing. Until the next one, please look after yourselves. Happy reading, happy maybe a little quiet 1 hour in the afternoon going through. If you've got an old shoebox full of cards, maybe have a little go through and pull out your favourites to think about mounting in some way, and maybe some of them can be chucked, but whatever. Happy browsing your old cards. Until the next one, cheerio.